What's up, DIY queens? It's your design bestie, Cara Newhart, and this is Make Space.
Hey guys, it's Cara, and welcome back to Make Space. I feel like this is going to be a really fun episode. We're doing a little solo epi just to get into things because I want to talk about something, first of all, that I get a lot of questions about all the time. But second of all, I think it sets like the framework and the context for what we're even doing here. So if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you found your way and that you're tuning in. If you've been here a while, hi again. I'm excited you're here too. And thank you for being here all along the way and supporting. So, when I started this podcast, I was renovating at that time my second house. It was 3 years ago. And I realized that half the work of like creating a home you love is like the actual work, like the design, the projects, the hands on. And the other half is like the mindset, whether that's like hyping yourself up to do the projects or whether that's like, I don't know, figuring out like design strategies and kind of, figuring out how you actually want to set things up and how you think about your house. And so I realized I was sharing all the projects and the tutorials on social and on my blog, and there was step by step, but there wasn't really anything, number one, for people that had never touched a tool and didn't know how to even get started and needed guidance along the way. And number two, I had the experience of, I don't know, having the interior design community feel very like stuffy and gatekept. And this is a fine line because I think it's that way for a reason. Like design is a important profession and there are interior designers that are amazing at their work. I mean, I interview so many of them on this show, but I also think there's parts of your home where when a designer decorates and then leaves, like you're the one that has to live there every day and you're changing it over time and making it support your everyday life. So I think there's parts of your house that you are the best person to handle. And if you're not hiring a designer, like you are the best designer for your house, whether that's not in the budget or whether that's because you have a passion for it and you just want to do it. So that's what the show is for, to kind of unlock the design secrets and get that advice from interior designers and also be able to be empowered in doing that work for yourself and knowing when like to outsource, like when are you out of your skill set where you should call in a professional. So the whole point of this show is to help you navigate the overwhelming inspiration on social media to sift through and find just the design strategies and recommendations that are right for you in your space, and to have a framework where you know how to do that so that it's fun and easy and you can tackle all the amazing projects. Through this process, I think one of the first places that I see people get hung up is being scared to start or scared to like do the next thing, whether that's like picking up a saw and using that for the first time, whether that's tearing down a wall and finally doing like actual big renovations in your house. And so I wanted to use this episode just kind of to speak to fear, sharing a little bit of my own journey, but also just giving you some strategies for how to work through fear, because I see a lot of people, and I used to say this, like back when I first started, my slogan was literally like empowering women to DIY without fear, like 4 years ago. I came out and I was like, this is my mission, because I had just taught like power tool classes. I teamed up with a local like plant shop and I brought literally like tarps and buckets and we built like an outdoor planter with house numbers. So there was like a nail gun, there was like drills, there was like all these power tools and about 12 people who had never picked up a tool before. And so we built them literally on the floor of the plant shop with tarps and buckets to catch the sawdust. This is before, honestly, I was not a DIY blogger at the time. I considered myself like a fashion blogger, which is hilarious because the outfits were so bad. But anyway, so I found myself teaching this workshop because I had just taught myself tools and I thought it would be fun. So it was super random, but all that to say, so I'm teaching everyone the nail gun. And before we dive into the tools, I'm standing up there and I'm like showing everyone which tool is which, kind of like the basics of like, where's the button? Where is the battery? And I was holding the nail gun like a brad nailer and I had the battery out of it And I literally took it and like pressed it against my hand and flinched like it had just shot a nail into my hand and like was like, and everyone, oh my gosh, you should have seen their faces. This is literally so mean, but everyone's faces were like, oh my God, like shock, pure shock across their faces. And I said, you feel that fear? That's here to keep you safe, but not to hold you back. And then, so they're terrified of this nail gun, right? And then every person, like, I go to show them how to use it. Like, one on one, we line up the boards, I shoot a nail and I show them how to do it, and then I hand it over. And I'm like, okay, it's your turn. And I remember this one girl, her face was just horrified. She was like, oh my gosh, because it's an intense tool, right? It like literally is shooting nails, like, let's not miss and hurt ourselves. But so her face is like horrified. She presses it down, she shoots a nail, and an instant change. Like instantly, she's like, wait, that wasn't that hard? And I did it. And I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm here for, but that moment right there, like I'm here to help people have that moment going from like, oh my God, this is so horrifying to like, wait a second, I can do this. And so that's what literally launched my whole like DIY content creation journey, is sharing that, because I love doing the projects, but honestly, sharing them and editing all these videos was tons of work. So there was no really good reason to do that other than like moments like that. And I still get so many of those today in my DMs, but I have done a lot of thought over the past 3-ish years about like what creates that transition? Like what are the elements that go into that? Like going from scared to going from like, I got this and I can do it. And kind of working on like, how have I done that in my own journey, and how can I like explain that so that others can see it practically? Because it's like one thing to give a motivational speech and be like, don't be afraid. And it's another to be like, okay, you are going to be afraid. Like this, power tools are scary. Doing things you have never done before is scary. And it should be, because you don't necessarily have all the knowledge that you need. But how can you navigate that in a way that is safe, but also where you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone? You're pushing yourself to learn new things, to expand your skill set. And so I created this whole little ebook about like your first 5 tools, what ones I think you should buy, and kind of a path through tools. And in there's a really good section about fear. And so I just wanted to kind of give you that for free, number one, but also kind of break that all down and hopefully help you have some practical things where you can step away, because I know what it's like to be there. Like when I first started, I was so scared to use tools. I used a drill because I had like grown up around tools and was taught how to use a drill. So I could use a drill, was like so comfortable with that. A saw, no way. Like, no way. I'm so clumsy. And I had never used one, and the thought just horrified me. So I literally used to plan all of my projects around the fact that I didn't want to use the saw. I didn't even have a saw. And I would go to Home Depot with like my cut list and make the sweet old man cut 72 pieces of wood to these really specific dimensions so that I could just go home, like screw everything together, sand and stain it, and build like furniture and build built-ins. And that's how I got started. And so honestly, the path is that number one, you are afraid, but you have to start. You pick a project and you just get started. And you can pick something that's safe, like refinishing furniture with a sander and a drill. Stuff that's like a lot on the safer side if you're not ready to use saws yet. I mean, they're serious tools, like don't get me wrong. But so anyway, starting there. And then honestly, it's like every single project I grow my skill set because I'm trying something that I've never tried before. And I grow my tool collection and, the ability to use those tools. But it's little by little, it's one step at a time, and it's always pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Like I'm 4 years in, and the work that I'm doing is literally work that you'd hire a full-on contractor. Like we're serious reno. Like the stuff I tackle is like for real high, like pro level. And I have taught myself how to do that. And I've learned from experts how to do that, but it was not always that way. And so I don't want you to look at my social media and think that's out of reach for you. I want to break down the journey and give you kind of some takeaways for that. So, the first thing you have to understand is, like I said in my story, the fear is there to keep you safe. Like, fear is literally your brain telling you, hey, this is risky and I'm programmed to survive and help you survive, so I don't think you should do this. But if you always listen to your fear, you'll hold yourself back and you won't push past your comfort zone. So with every project, you should be a little bit comfortable that there are parts of it that you know how to do, whether that's painting, whether that's picking the paint color, like really simple stuff. And then there should be parts that you are a little bit uncomfortable, things you're trying for the first time and that you're not really sure how to do. So don't let that fear hold you back, and understand that like it's never going to go away. Like, still to this day, there's projects almost every single time. There's a part of the project that I'm terrified to do. Like, terrified. Like, whether that's I'm on a ladder holding this upholstered ceiling that I made, trying to screw it into studs, like, oh my gosh, like, am I going to make it? How did I get myself into this situation? Or whether it's like, you know, I'm just trying something like a new tool or a new technique, like, for example, cutting brick. I've never cut brick before, and I'm planning this patio where I'm going to have to learn to do that with the big saw, and that's terrifying. Okay, so it's not going to go away. How do we push past it? Better yet, how do we use your fear as fuel to help us, like, actually, like, teach us where we can grow and learn? Like, the things you're scared of, you're only scared of, number one, because you're lacking knowledge. The things you're scared of, you're only scared of, number one, because you're lacking knowledge. Like, you don't know what you don't know. You're uncertain because you don't know the things you need to know. Or number two, you're lacking confidence. And confidence is your ability to trust yourself to do something. And confidence only comes from experience. Like, it only comes from having done something and had an experience that you can point to and be like, yes, I can do that. Without that, confidence is just like all in your head. It's like unfounded. You know what I mean? So if you're scared of something, you need to, number one, get knowledge. Number two, get confidence. And I would say number three, and this is a lesson I've learned the hard way, is to get support. I'm the queen of being hyper independent. I feel like it's a trauma response, and trying to do everything on my own. And for so long, that was my badge of honor. Like, I can do this. I don't need a man. Like, if somebody at the hardware store that doesn't work there comes and asks if I need help, I'm going to be like, no, get away from me. I got this. And what I've realized is, like, I can do it on my own, but I don't have to. And so there's a balance between being confident that I'm capable and knowing what I'm able to do by myself, and also realizing that I don't have to do it alone and I can accept help. So I've learned that lesson the hard way. But the three things that we're doing when we're pushing past our fear and we're pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone is looking for knowledge, looking to grow our confidence, so grow our skill set, and looking for support. And so support is as simple as, yes, getting the Home Depot guy to cut your wood. It can be getting your neighbor to teach you power tools. I know when I was first learning, my next door neighbor was like real into tools and had all these fun ones. And so I went over twice and used like very exciting tools like a drill press and something else. And he was like so excited that somebody wanted to hang out with him and learn them. It could be your dad. Like, my dad has since passed away, but growing up in high school, I literally worked for him. He was an electrician and contractor and home builder. So I was literally crawling around in hot attics, fishing wire in insulation, and so gross. While everyone that was my friend worked in like a fun retail store, and they got to have air conditioning and a discount at American Eagle. So that was fun. But yeah, so it can be, your dad or your mom, like if you have a family member that knows how to use power tools, or your partner, if your partner knows how. It can be a friend, like it can be someone that you are both learning together. And so you team up and you make each other better and you bounce things off of each other. And you can even like plan your tool collection so that one of you buys one thing and the other one buys another thing, and then you can like share and not have to spend thousands up front on tools. So there's so many ways to get support. And so I just want to make it so clear that when you see me doing things alone, like you don't have to do that. Like it's not an essential part of a successful DIY project to have done it all yourself. And so wherever you can get support, never ever beat yourself up for needing support and seeking that. And really, it makes things easier. Like now, if someone is dumb enough to ask me if I need help because I'm a girl at the hardware store, great, you get to carry my wood. If you're going to be dumb enough to ask and assume I don't know what I'm doing, come with me. And there are very helpful people. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people that assume I don't know what I'm doing. Those are the people we're tricking. But yeah, rope them in and get them to carry all your wood and do things. Okay, so knowledge plus confidence plus support equals how to push past your fear. So research and find resources so you know what you should do. So when you're seeking for knowledge, that's when you're watching tutorial videos. You're asking the random guy at, the hardware store that asks if you need help. Like, sure, here's my project. Do you know anything? Is there anything you would suggest? You're asking people. You're reading books. You're reading blog posts. You're finding all the information you need. Confidence. I feel like this is the trickiest piece because it can be one thing to get the knowledge and it's another to like actually take that step to do it. The analogy I really like is you could read a book about swimming, but you're not actually going to know how to swim till someone like throws you in the water. Like you can know every technical thing about swimming, like all of the strokes and pacing and breaths and all of that. But until you're thrown in the deep end and you know what it actually feels like, you're not going to know how to do it. So until there's like literally a saw in your hand, you're not going to know how it feels and how to navigate it. So that can be the trickiest part, but it's kind of like we round robin in between the three. Like we see, okay, here's what I don't know. Now I know that. Here's what I need to practice. Okay, now we're practicing. So we're getting a $10 nightstand from Goodwill and we're getting out our circular sander, orbit sander, and sanding it down. And we're going to, hold it too long in one spot and ruin the veneer and learn the hard way how it feels to use a sander. And then we're going to, change the hardware with our drill and then use our saw to cut off the legs and attach new ones. And so, or we're going to just get a piece of scrap wood and learn how to make a cut and have someone there showing us how to use the tool, or be in our garage with our miter saw on the floor, which I do not recommend. You should get an old dresser and make my miter saw stand. But that's how I started too. My first few cuts were on the floor, and you're going to be making the first cut with your brand new saw, and you're going to have watched 10 YouTube tutorials, but it's like go time and you're finally learning how to do it. And that's how you get experience. Like you have to get uncomfortable in that way. It's just a little more high stakes with tools because they are dangerous. Like they're cutting things. So you do have to be more careful. But if you have the right knowledge and the right people around you, you will be able to do it safely. And I think for those of you listening that are like, I don't want to use tools and I'm never going to pick up a tool. Like, listen, that's fine. You do not have to learn how to use power tools to be able to take charge of your spaces in any sort of way. Like you can do everything manually or you can hire it out. I love like TaskRabbit. You can just summon people from the internet to come do things for you. It's like magical. So if you're in that space and your fear is more around like, what if I mess up? What if I spend a bunch of money on furniture that's like wrong? You're using these same things. We're using the knowledge, confidence, support equation to no matter where you're tackling fear. So if you're feeling fearful and unsure about decision, identify, do I need to ask someone? Like, do I need a second opinion? Do I need to do more research on this fabric for this couch to know that it's really going to fit my lifestyle? Or do I just need to have confidence in buying orange curtains and realize that like, this is my house and I can do what I want and I'm allowed to make these decisions without having to validate that in any way, if it's like a style choice or an art choice, and that nothing is that permanent that it's going to like ruin things. Like if at the end of it you end up hating them, usually you can return them. And if you can't, like it was an experience, right? It's like you tried something and you took a creative risk. And if it didn't pan out, like, welcome to being an artist. I can't tell you how many times I have like thoroughly messed things up because I took a risk creatively that I was like, whoa, wouldn't it be cool if we like did this wild thing? And then it's like, wow, actually that looks horrible. But the lesson there is in owning it and learning to pivot. And so that's the second phase, which we'll cover in another episode. But it's first like taking the initial step to overcome your fear and do it. And then pivoting and troubleshooting when things go wrong, because they absolutely will, is round 2. Okay, so here's some tips for pushing past fear. I have kind of a little like checklist with 3 things in each category, and I thought I would just read them to you. If you're a note person, you can write them down. If you don't want to write them down, you can just buy this tool guide for $33 and have the pretty checklist that I made. Or you can just listen and kind of, remember the ones you want. Okay, expanding your knowledge. Number 1, we're researching online to learn what you don't know. So YouTube, TikTok, I like both of those as search engines for searching things. And also my blog, it has a lot of stuff there, but not everything. So you're going to have to use the rest of the internet. Is great for tutorial content. So we're looking for how-to, we're looking for guides, and you should watch different people, because even people explaining the same thing like have a different twist. And so sometimes it just clicks when someone else says it a different way. And I've had so many people, like the best example is my air compressor video. I've had so many people be like, wow, there's like hundreds of how to use an air compressor videos on the internet, but it never made sense to me until I watched yours. And that's an honor, first of all. But also it just goes to show that like, no matter who's saying it, it's going to come across differently and it's going to like resonate differently. So yeah, watch a lot, I guess, is the gist. Number 2, watch general content to get exposure to new projects and or new techniques that you wouldn't even know to look for. And so this is like, when it comes to knowledge, you know what you don't know, right? And so then you can type a question and you can learn what you don't know. But there's also a scenario where you don't know what you don't know. You're like so new to something or so inexperienced that you don't even know what something's called or what to look for. And in that case, you should just keep watching and consuming content that's similar to what you want to achieve, because you'll pick up different techniques, different ideas, different strategies that you wouldn't even know to look for. And then there's other little tricks, like you can reverse Google image search things. There's many apps for that, but basically it's Google search, but with a photo. So you upload a photo and it brings up all these options. It's very helpful. You can also use that for dating profiles. I'm the go-to friend for helping people research in that way. You didn't hear that here. And then the next thing is, what was I going to say? Oh, the Home Depot app is actually really good. It has like this little photo thing where you hold up like a part, like a weird pipe or something, and it scans it and gives you like similar things. So that can be helpful if you have something but you don't know what it's called. Or you can just be really embarrassing like me and bring it in, even if it's huge, and push it around in a cart until someone can tell you what it is. Listen, sometimes you have to get embarrassing to learn. It's fine. Okay, you also want to research specific questions you have. Engage with content and ask questions about your specific project for extra help. So if you see a tutorial and they didn't answer your question, like leave a comment. And if it's me, you should harass me a lot because I'm really bad at replying to everyone's comment. I love you guys so much. There are just so many, and sometimes it's a hard explanation to do right in the comment section. So feel free to harass me is what I'm saying. If I don't get back to you, it's not personal. I've replied in my heart and sometimes forgot to type a response. But asking people for help, even on the internet, especially if they just did the project, is a great idea. And number 3, you can actually take shop classes at your local creative center or community college. Sometimes there's like shared workshop spaces too. If you're near a big city, I know that there's like workshops with power tools and all kinds of stuff. And so, or vocational schools, sometimes they have like little summer things. So don't be afraid to go like take official classes, which has always felt weird to me because I feel like I finished school and I was like, I will teach myself now with a YouTube search bar. But like you can go back to real classes taught by real teachers and learn things. Okay, so that's expanding your knowledge, the 3 tips. It was very long-winded. Number 2, unlocking your confidence. This practice drilling holes in a piece of scrap wood or practice sanding it down. You have to get the feel of things, and the more you can create a scenario in which you can practice something where there's no stakes if you mess up. So like we're not using really nice expensive lumber that if we cut it wrong, it costs us lots to replace. We're not refinishing grandma's vanity that's been in the family for hundreds of years as our first DIY project. Like we're going to beat up some Goodwill furniture first and practice on that so that if it doesn't work out, we didn't ruin something sentimental. You know what I mean? Like give yourself a low stakes opportunity where you're still trying something new and you're still pushing yourself to try new things and do things you've never done, but where the stakes aren't high if you mess up, because you will mess up. So as long as we can get prepared and comfortable with that, it's fun. It's like, okay, let's see how I'm going to mess this up and let's just wing it. Like so fun. Okay, number 2, start small. So don't start by trying to DIY your kitchen renovation or be the general contractor of a big home renovation. Start with just one project and just one tool and build from there, because things are intimidating when you try to jump into the deep end and you don't know how it feels to be in the water. When you start in the shallow end or the side of the pool or dipping your toe in, it's going to be a lot easier and a lot more sustainable because you're going to give yourself like small wins and grow your skill set over time. So start small and tackle it at your own pace. This is where the overwhelm of inspiration on the internet can be really challenging, because you see people maybe that started a year ago progress really fast, or you see people like me that have been doing this for a very long time, tackling really epic things and making it look so easy because the video is 15 seconds long because we had to speed it up to show you the whole thing in a minute. So go at your own pace and let yourself set the pace. Do not compare your work to other people in the sense that you feel like you should be further along or you should know how to do something. Okay. And number 3, my favorite way to get free hands-on instruction while doing good is to volunteer. So here's the best hack ever for learning to use power tools. Go volunteer at Habitat for Humanity, because there's all kinds of like actual contractors, retired contractors that know how to use these tools and will literally teach you how to use them hands-on. So number 1, it's free. You don't have to buy the tools. You just show up. Number 2, you're doing good. And number 3, you're learning from a professional. So that's my top secret hack. So if you do nothing, do that. Okay, one more. We're getting through it. I'm sorry. I'm long-winded on this, but I just want there to be enough nuggets where somebody walks away feeling encouraged or feeling like they have a practical, tangible thing that they can do to do this, to take charge of creating spaces in their home or learning how to use tools. Okay, so number 3 is find support. So we talked about this a little bit. Connect with someone in your life who is proficient at tools and ask them to help you. So a partner, a father, a neighbor, a best friend, a stranger. Maybe not that, stranger danger, but you know what I mean. Number 2, find somebody to learn with you. So this was what I was saying, where you find someone and you're both new, but you're going to see things differently and you're going to be tackling projects differently. And so you can help each other. And even if it's just somebody holding a board so that when you're ripping a big piece of plywood on your table saw, you're not doing it alone, because you should never do it alone, especially if it's a rickety Ryobi saw. It's horrifying. Okay. And number 3, a tool share group. So this is where a bunch of people get together and you live in a you live in the same area, you live in the same neighborhood, and you all share your tools. So not one person has to buy a garage full of all the tools. You can just share back and forth. So that is a hybrid mix of my story / my TED Talk on pushing past fear / tangible ways that you can approach taking charge of your spaces and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So that applies to power tools, creative risks, any kind of fear ever in your life that you're overcoming. That is my top secret formula that is tried and true, that I've helped other people through, and that I have figured out for my own life. Knowledge, confidence, support. And that's how you push past fear, because it will never go away, and we're not going to let fear hold us back. We're going to, learn how to do it. So I hope this was helpful. I love solo episodes because it feels like it's just a free flow of me just yapping, and things just come out, and good or bad, usually good, sometimes embarrassing. I feel like it's fun to be just us. And so I have a lot of really amazing guests, like guests that I'm going to be interviewing, sweating the whole time, so nervous because I'm going to be fangirling and trying to be so cool and normal for you so that I can ask questions so that it's a good episode. But it's going to be really fun. I'm so excited for this new relaunch, this new look and feel, this new space that I made, that I DIY'd all by myself. I made this sign and I'm so excited. And if you're listening and you can't see it, head over to YouTube or my Instagram at MakeSpacePod and you can check out the new studio. So I hope you liked this episode. I hope it was helpful. And if you did like it, you should DM me, or you can share your favorite part on your stories and tag MakeSpacePod and I will reshare. And as always, if you want more stuff for the mindset, besides binging the podcast, which is very fun to do, there's 70-something episodes at this point, so you'd have lots to listen to. But you can also grab this, which is the Make Space Journal. It's a guided journal about your home that I wrote just for you, really helping you unpack the concept of home, figuring out what you want out of your spaces, and some tangible steps to get there. Because what I realized is that instead of starting with inspiration or asking yourself how you want things to look, you really need to start with, like, what do I want out of my home and how do I want my home to support me? And doing that is a process. It's not like a simple question you just ask yourself one day. It's a process that took me like 3 years to do. And so I thought I would make this journal so that you could do it faster and not have to waste 3 years making mistakes to get there. So it's on Amazon. Search Make Space, Cara Newhart. It'll pop right up. I made it really pretty so you can put it on your shelf. But enough about that. Let me know if you like this episode. Let's connect on social. I will see you next week. Thanks for listening. And that's it.
Thanks for listening. And if you've got more episodes to catch up on, binge on. Don't let me stop you. But if you've got a second, you should come say hi on Insta at MakeSpacePod. And if you're an overachiever, you can also leave a review and I'll love you forever. If you're new here, hit that follow button to officially become a DIY queen and join all the amazing humans tuning in every week.